The Galactic Council chambers were huge. 300 representatives from different planets sat in wide circles. The room was silent except for the soft voice of Elder Tejo. He stood in the center, his old body wrapped in simple gray robes. Light from the ceiling made his white hair shine. "For 3,000 years we have kept the promise," Tejo said. His voice was quiet, but everyone could hear him. "For 3,000 years, Earth has remained untouched. This is how it must stay." The council leaders looked at each other. Many younger members shifted in their seats. Some rolled their eyes when they thought Tejo wasn't looking. "The humans sleep in their little corner of the galaxy," Tejo continued. "They do not know about us. They think they are alone. This is good. This is safe." Admiral Jiwoo stood up. Her uniform was bright with medals and pins. Unlike Tejo, she spoke loudly, confidently. "Elder Tejo, we respect your wisdom," she said, though her tone suggested otherwise. "But times have changed. Our Confederation needs resources. The reports show Earth's system has plenty, and humans are still primitive. Our scans show they have only visited their own moon. They have no real space travel." Tejo shook his head slowly. "You think of their ships and weapons. That is not what matters." "Then what does matter?" asked Commander Do-yoon. He was young, ambitious, and had the ear of the council president. "Please explain why we should fear beings who have not even discovered faster-than-light travel." Tejo walked slowly to a small table. He pressed a button and a hologram appeared. It showed the blue-green planet Earth, spinning slowly. 3,000 years ago, our first explorers found Earth," he said. "They planned to make contact. They thought, like you, that humans would be easy to control or defeat if necessary." The hologram changed, showing an old ship, bulky and crude by current standards. "The explorers sent down a landing party," Tejo continued. "At first, everything seemed normal. Humans were indeed primitive. They had only just discovered electricity, but then something unexpected happened. The room grew tenser. Even the doubters were paying attention now. The humans were not alone on their planet," Tejo said. "They had protectors, guardians." "What kind of guardians?" asked Subin, the representative from the science planets. "Another species living on Earth?" "No," Tejo said. "Not physical beings as we understand them. The guardians exist partly in our dimension and partly in others. They had formed a pact with humans long before our explorers arrived." The hologram changed again, showing strange patterns of light and geometry that seemed to hurt the eyes if viewed too long. "Our explorers were not killed," Tejo said. "That would have been simpler. Instead, the guardians spoke to them. They explained that they had chosen humanity as their partners. They said humans had something the guardians needed, some unique quality in their minds or biology. In return, the guardians protected Earth." Admiral Jiwoo laughed. "If these guardians were so powerful, why is Earth still primitive? Shouldn't they have given humans advanced technology?" "They did," Tejo said simply. "But only for defense and only to be used when needed. The rest remains dormant, waiting. The guardians themselves mostly sleep, conserving their energy. They will only fully awaken if Earth is threatened, Commander." Do-hyun stood up. He walked to the center of the room, standing face to face with Tejo. "Elder," he said, not bothering to hide his disbelief. "I have studied the records. I found mentions of these guardians in old texts, but in 3,000 years, no one has seen any evidence they exist. No probes or long-range scans have detected them." "Because they do not wish to be detected," Tejo replied. "And because we have kept our promise to stay away from Earth." The council president, a tall woman named Eunji, raised her hand for silence. The room quieted immediately. "Elder Tejo," she said, "you have served this council for 200 years. Your wisdom has guided us through many challenges. But we must consider current realities. Our outer colonies need resources. The planets in Earth's system have them in abundance." Tejo closed his eyes briefly. When he opened them, he looked tired. "The pact our ancestors made was simple," he said. "We leave Earth alone. We make no contact with humans. We take nothing from their system. In return, the Guardians remain dormant. They do not interfere with our civilization. And if we break this pact? Yunji asked. The Guardians will awaken, Taiho said. All of them. And they will protect what is theirs. Admiral Jiwoo stepped forward again. With all respect, Elder, we have no proof these Guardians exist beyond ancient stories. Even if they did exist then, they may be gone now. 3,000 years is a long time. Taiho looked at her sadly. For beings that exist partly outside our time, it is nothing. The council debated for hours. Taiho stood silently in the center, watching as the argument went back and forth. Some older members supported him. Most younger ones did not. Finally, Yunji called for a vote. Those in favor of sending a research and resource expedition to Earth system, raise your hands. Slowly, hands went up across the chamber. Taiho counted silently. It was not even close. The council has decided, Yunji announced. An expedition will be sent to Earth's system. It will be led by Captain Ji-young on the research vessel Starlight, Voyager. Its primary mission will be to assess resources and make first contact with humans. She turned to Taiho. Elder, the council thanks you for your warning. We will proceed with caution. The expedition will be prepared for any unusual circumstances. Taiho bowed slightly. He looked around the room one last time. I have one request, he said. When you send your ships, include a message from me to Captain Ji-young. What message? Yunji asked. If you see anything strange, anything you cannot explain, leave immediately, Taiho said. Do not wait. Do not investigate. Just leave. As the council members filed out of the chamber, Commander Do-hyun approached Taiho. You really believe in these Guardians, don't you? He asked. I do, Taiho said. And soon, you will too. Do-hyun smiled, not unkindly. If you're right, I'll be the first to apologize. If I'm right, Taiho said quietly, there may not be time for apologies. That night in his private quarters, Taiho stood at the window. He looked out at the stars, knowing that somewhere among them was a small blue-green planet, sleeping peacefully. For now, he thought about the humans, going about their lives, not knowing what watched over them, not knowing what was coming. The young must learn, he whispered to himself. But some lessons are hard. In his desk drawer was an old device. He had not used it in decades. He took it out now and activated it. A message needed to be sent. Not to Captain Ji-young or the council, but to someone else. Someone who still remembered the old stories. Someone who might be able to help when the Guardians awakened. The research vessel Starlight Voyager was the pride of the Confederation fleet. It gleamed silver against the blackness of space. Inside, the crew prepared for their approach to the Sol system, home of planet Earth. Captain Ji-young stood on the bridge. Her dark uniform fit perfectly. She had been chosen personally by Admiral Jiwoo for this mission. Success would mean promotion and fame. How much longer until we reach the edge of the system? She asked. Navigation Officer Junho checked his screens. 3 hours, Captain. Ji-young nodded. Call Chief Scientist Minsu to the bridge. I want one final review of the first contact protocols. As Junho sent the message, Ji-young walked to the large window at the front of the bridge. Stars stretched out before her. One of them was Sol, the sun at the center of Earth's system. It grew slightly brighter each hour as they approached. Minsu arrived quickly. She carried a data tablet and looked excited. Her eyes were bright with the chance to make history. Captain, she said, all preparations are complete. Our linguistic team has analyzed their broadcast signals. We can speak their languages now. Good, said Ji-young. And the cultural analysis? Minsu tapped her tablet. Images appeared on the main screen. Humans walking in cities, driving vehicles, watching entertainment. They are divided into nations, Minsu explained. They fight small wars, but nothing that threatens their whole species. They have nuclear weapons, but have only used them twice, long ago. They seem to fear their own power. Ji-young smiled slightly. That will make things easier. What about their space capabilities? Very limited, Minsu said. They have visited their moon and sent simple robots to nearby planets. They have a small station orbiting their world. Nothing that could threaten us. Lieutenant Hyunwoo at the tactical station spoke up. We should still be careful, Captain. The council forwarded a message from Elder Taiho. Ji-young sighed. The old man and his warnings. What does he say? Just that if we see anything unusual, anything we cannot explain, we should leave immediately. Some of the bridge crew exchanged glances. Everyone had heard the stories about Elder Taiho's warnings in the council. Noted, Ji-young said simply. But this mission is too important to abandon over superstition. The Confederation needs the resources in this system. 3 hours later, the Starlight Voyager crossed the invisible boundary of the Sol system. All sensors were active, scanning everything. Detecting 9 planets, reported Junho. The third one is Earth. Blue-green, mostly water. 1 large moon. Life signs? Asked Ji-young. Billions, Minsu said, studying her screens. Concentrated, in cities across the planet. Also detecting extensive electronic networks, artificial satellites, and the space station I mentioned. Ji-young nodded. Take us closer. Standard approach, but stay beyond their detection range for now. The massive ship moved deeper into the system. It passed the outer planets without slowing. The crew was quiet, focused on their work, but also feeling the weight of the moment. They would be the first to make official contact with humans. As they approached the orbit of Mars, Hyunwoo frowned at his console. Captain, he said, I'm detecting something strange. Ji-young turned toward him. What kind of strange? Energy readings, Hyunwoo said. Very faint. They don't match anything in our database. Minsu moved to his station and looked at the readings. That's odd. They seem to be coming from several locations in the system. Some from the outer planets, some from asteroids, some from Earth itself. She adjusted the sensors. They're so faint they're almost not there. Ji-young remembered Taiho's warning but pushed it from her mind. Could it be natural phenomena we haven't seen before? Possibly, Minsu said, but she sounded unsure. The pattern seemed too regular for that, though. Keep monitoring, Ji-young ordered. But we continue as planned. The ship moved past Mars and deeper into the inner system. The energy readings remained, neither growing stronger nor disappearing. We are now within Earth's detection range, Junho announced. Their primitive radar systems can see us if they look in the right place. Good, said Ji-young. It's time to announce ourselves. Communications? Prepare the first contact message. Communications Officer Yoonji nodded. Message ready, Captain. Standard greeting, peaceful intentions, request for dialogue. Send it. The message went out, traveling at light speed toward Earth. The bridge crew waited tensely. How long until they respond? Ji-young asked. If they respond immediately, about 4 minutes, Yoonji said. But they might need time to decide what to. This will be quite a shock for them. They waited. 4 minutes passed, then 10, then 30. No response, Captain, Yoonji finally said. Ji-young frowned. Are we sure they received it? Yes. We can see their communications networks buzzing with activity. They know we're here. They're just not answering. Interesting, Ji-young said. Perhaps they're afraid. Let's move closer and try again. As the Starlight Voyager approached Earth's moon, Hyunwoo suddenly stood up from his station. Captain, the energy readings, they're changing. Everyone turned to look at his display. The faint energy patterns were indeed changing. They were growing stronger and connecting to each other, forming a network across the entire system. What does it mean? Ji-young asked. Before anyone could answer, every screen on the bridge flickered. The ship's lights dimmed for a second, then returned to normal. Minor power fluctuation, reported the engineering officer. Source unknown. Captain, Yoonji said, we're receiving a transmission from Earth. Put it on screen, Ji-young ordered, straightening her uniform. The main screen lit up, but instead of seeing a human face as expected, they saw only a pattern of light. It shifted and moved in ways that made it hard to look at directly. What is this? Ji-young demanded. Some kind of interference? Then a voice came through the speakers. It spoke perfect galactic standard, which should have been impossible for humans to know. Confederation vessel, the voice said. You have entered protected space. The pact has been broken. Ji-young stared at the screen. Who are you? We came in peace to meet the humans of Earth. I am Sentinel, the voice replied. First awakened of the Guardians. Your presence has triggered the defense protocols. The dormancy is ended. The bridge went completely silent. Ji-young felt cold fear spreading through her body. The Guardians, Minsu whispered. Elder Taiho was right. On the tactical displays, the energy readings were now pulsing strongly. They appeared all through the system, forming a vast web. What happens now? Ji-young asked the being on the screen. Now, said Sentinel, the Guardians awaken. All of them. The humans will be informed of your presence. The ancient technologies will be activated. Ji-young made a quick decision. We'll leave. We'll return to Confederation space immediately. It is too late, Sentinel replied. The process has begun, but you may stay and witness. No harm will come to your vessel if you make no aggressive moves. The transmission ended. The pattern of light vanished from the screen. Captain, Hyunwoo said, his voice shaking. I'm detecting massive energy buildups throughout the system. Something is happening on all the planets, even the gas giants. Ji-young looked at her crew. Fear showed on every face. She thought of Elder Taeho's warning, which she had dismissed so easily. Send a message to the Confederation, she ordered Yunji. Tell them Elder Taeho was right. The Guardians are real. And now, they're awake. The Starlight Voyager hung in space near Earth's moon. On the bridge, Captain Ji-young tried to stay calm. Her crew looked to her for leadership, but she had no experience with anything like this. Status report, she ordered, keeping her voice steady. Lieutenant Hyunwoo checked his tactical screens. The energy patterns are growing stronger across the system. Whatever the Guardians are doing, it's happening fast. Chief Scientist Minsu pointed to her own display. Captain, look at this. Something is happening on Earth. The main screen showed the blue planet. Across its surface, points of light were appearing. They shone through clouds, visible even from space. What are those? Ji-young asked. Based on their locations, Minsu said. They seem to be coming from deep oceans, mountain ranges, and polar regions, places humans rarely go. Communications Officer Yunji turned from her station. Captain, we're getting thousands of signals from Earth now. Human broadcasts all talking about the same thing. Strange lights, unexplained structures emerging from the ground and water. Ji-young made a decision. We need to see this up close. Prepare the diplomatic shuttle and a small team. We'll send them down to make direct contact. Is that wise? Minsu asked quietly. The Sentinel said we wouldn't be harmed if we made no aggressive moves, Ji-young replied. A small team might learn what's happening. The diplomatic shuttle launched, from the Voyager, with 5 crew members aboard. Ambassador Sunwoo led the team with 2 security officers, a scientist, and a communications expert. As they approached Earth's atmosphere, Lieutenant Hyunwoo on the Voyager suddenly shouted, Captain, energy spike near the shuttle! On the screen, they watched in horror as 7 escort fighters launched automatically from the Voyager's bay. No one had ordered this. Shut them down, Ji-young commanded. I can't, Hyunwoo said, frantically working. His controls. They're not responding, something else is controlling them. The fighters moved into formation around the diplomatic shuttle. For a moment, everything seemed fine. Then all 7 fighters suddenly lost power at once. Their lights went out. They began falling toward Earth. The shuttle, Ji-young cried. The diplomatic shuttle managed to avoid the falling fighters. Its pilot, showing great skill, kept control and continued toward the surface. The fighters crashed into the ocean, far from any human settlements. What just happened? Ji-young demanded. Minsu shook her head. It seems the Guardians disabled our fighters. They may have seen them as weapons, as a threat. The shuttle continued its descent, now alone. It landed in a large open field near what appeared to be a human military base. The crew of the Voyager, watched through the shuttle's cameras. Ambassador Sunwoo stepped out first. He wore no protection as Earth's air was breathable for their kind. He expected to see human soldiers, perhaps tanks or other primitive weapons. Instead, a single human approached. A man wearing a simple gray uniform with no markings or rank. He walked calmly across the field toward Sunwoo. "Greetings," Sunwoo said in the main human language his team had learned. "We come in peace from the stars." The human stopped a few meters away. Then, to everyone's shock, he replied in perfect galactic standard. "You have violated the Pact of Dormancy. The Guardians. Awaken." On the Voyager, the bridge crew stared in disbelief. "How does he know our language?" Yoonji whispered. They had no time to consider this question. Behind the human, massive doors began to open in the side of a mountain. They had thought it was a human military base. Now they realized it was something else entirely. From the opening came a soft blue light. Then objects began to emerge. They looked like ships, but unlike any the Confederation had ever built. They were smooth, with no visible engines or weapons. They rose silently into the air. The camera feed from the shuttle suddenly cut off. "Ambassador Sunwoo, report." Ji-young called into the communicator. There was no answer. "Captain," Hyunwoo said, his voice shaking, "we have company." The Voyager's sensors showed new objects appearing all around them. Some seemed to simply fade into existence, as if they had been there all along but invisible. Space stations larger than anything in the Confederation unfolded like flowers. Defense platforms with sleek organic designs took position at key points throughout the system. And ships, thousands of ships, appeared near every planet and major moon. "This is impossible," Minsu said. "Our scans showed nothing like this in the system. Where did they come from?" The answer came in the form of another transmission. The main screen lit up again with the strange pattern of light they had seen before. "I am Sentinel," the voice said. "The dormancy is ended. The awakening is complete. What have you done with our shuttle team?" Ji-young demanded. "They are unharmed," Sentinel replied. "They will remain on Earth while the humans are informed of galactic realities. It has been decided that isolation is no longer possible." "And us?" Ji-young asked. "What will happen to the Voyager?" "You will remain here to witness," Sentinel said. "A message must be sent to your Confederation. The terms of a new agreement must be established." Suddenly, new displays appeared on all screens on the bridge. They showed images from across Earth. Humans were gathering in cities looking up at the sky where Guardian ships now hovered. There was fear, yes, but also wonder. No weapons had been fired. No destruction had occurred. In other images, they saw structures rising from oceans, vast installations with the same organic, flowing design as the ships. Some had clearly been there for thousands of years, hidden beneath the waves. Others seemed to be building themselves from nothing. "What are those?" Minsu asked, her scientific curiosity overcoming her fear. "Creation engines," Sentinel answered. "Power sources, atmospheric processors, defense systems, all given to humanity long ago, then hidden until needed." "Given by you, the Guardians?" Ji-young asked. "Yes, as part of our pact." Hyunwoo had been studying his tactical display with growing concern. "Captain, the Guardian vessels have surrounded us, and more ships are appearing throughout the system. Their technology, it's beyond anything we have." Ji-young realized the full situation now. The Confederation had made a terrible mistake. These Guardians controlled technology that made the Confederation look primitive by comparison. And they had been here all along, sleeping until disturbed. "Why?" she asked Sentinel. "Why protect humans? What makes them special?" The pattern on the screen shifted slightly. "That is a complicated question. The simple answer is, they provide what we need. We provide what they need. Together, we are more than either alone." Before Ji-young could ask more, new alerts sounded. "Captain!" Yoonji called. "We're receiving a transmission from Confederation Space. Admiral Jiwoo is sending a rescue fleet. They'll be here in 3 days." The light pattern on the screen pulsed once. "They should not come," Sentinel said. It would be unwise. Ji-young felt cold fear run through her body. What will you do if they come? What is necessary, Sentinel replied. But there need not be conflict. Contact your leaders. Tell them what you have seen. Tell them the Guardians offer peace but will not accept threats. The pattern of light faded from the screen. In its place appeared a view of Earth. The blue planet now sparkled with points of light. The Guardian technology was fully awakening after 3,000 years of sleep. Ji-young looked at her crew. Their faces showed fear, awe, and confusion. She felt the same. Everything they had believed about their place in the galaxy had just changed. Send a message to the Confederation, she ordered Yunji. Tell them not to send the fleet. Tell them the Guardians are real and they are beyond anything we have ever encountered. And tell them Elder Taiho was right. As the message was sent, Ji-young wondered if the Confederation would listen, or if they would make the same mistake twice. 3 days after the awakening, the Galactic Council met in emergency session. The Grand Chamber was packed. Every member world had sent representatives. The mood was tense. Elder Taiho sat quietly in the center. He did not look pleased to be proven right. He looked sad. Admiral Jiwoo stood before the council, her once proud uniform now plain. The council had stripped her of rank when the first reports came from the Starlight Voyager. The rescue fleet will arrive at Earth system in 6 hours, she reported. 30 battleships, 50 cruisers, and support vessels. Council President Yunji leaned forward. Have they received Captain Ji-young's warning? Yes, Jiwoo admitted. But Fleet Command believes the threat is exaggerated. They think one research vessel cannot properly assess the situation. Voices rose around the chamber. Some called for the fleet to turn back. Others demanded it continue, to show the Confederation's strength. Elder Taiho finally stood. The room fell silent. I will tell you now what few have known for 3,000 years, he said. His voice was tired but clear. I will tell you the true nature of the pact with the Guardians. Everyone leaned forward to listen. Our earliest explorers did not find humans first, Taiho began. They found the Guardians. Or perhaps it is more accurate to say the Guardians found them. On the large screens around the room, images appeared. Ancient recordings, grainy and faded. They showed strange patterns of light and geometry, similar to what Captain Ji-young had reported seeing. The Guardians are not from our universe, Taiho continued. They come from somewhere else, somewhere beyond. They entered our reality long ago looking for something they needed. What did they need? Someone asked. Energy, Taiho replied. But not the kind we use. They feed on something humans produce naturally, a kind of neural energy created by human brains. It does not harm the humans. Most never know it is happening. Murmurs spread through the chamber. This was new information. To most, the Guardians found humanity when they were still primitive, Taiho went on. They could have conquered them, farmed them for this energy. Instead, they offered a partnership. They would protect humans, help them grow and develop at their own pace. In return, humans would provide what the Guardians needed. So humans are just food for these beings? Jiwoo asked with disgust. No, Taiho said firmly. It is more like a symbiotic relationship. The Guardians take only what humans naturally produce in excess, and they give much in return. The technology, Council President Yunji said. The ships and stations Captain Ji-young reported. Yes, Taiho nodded. The Guardians gave humans advanced technology, but only for defense. Then most of the Guardians went into a dormant state, conserving their energy. Only a few remained active, watching over Earth. The chamber was quiet as everyone considered. Why did our ancestors agree to leave Earth alone? Someone finally asked. If these Guardians were mostly sleeping, why not take the resources anyway? Taiho sighed. Because before they agreed to sleep, the Guardians demonstrated their power. New images appeared on the screens. They showed an old recording of a star beginning to go supernova. The explosion started, then suddenly stopped. The star collapsed in on itself, then reformed, stable once more. They saved a star from death, Taiho said quietly. Not as a threat, but as a demonstration. Our ancestors understood then what we face. The Guardians could destroy our civilization if they wished. Instead, they asked only to be left in peace, with their human partners. The council chamber erupted in voices. Some shouted questions, others argued about what to do next. President Unji called for order. Elder Taiho, she said when the room quieted. Why was this information kept secret? Why didn't we know the full truth? Because, Taiho replied, the elders feared that if everyone knew about the relationship between humans and Guardians, some would try to steal it. They would try to capture humans, to study them, to learn how to provide what the Guardians need. It would have led to war. Just then, the main screen lit up with an urgent message. The rescue fleet commander appeared, his face pale. Council President, he said, we have entered the Sol system as ordered, but... He paused, struggling to find words. Go on, Commander, Yunji urged. The system is transformed, he said. There are structures everywhere, ships and stations bigger than anything we have ever built. They just appeared around us. Our weapons cannot target them. Our sensors cannot fully scan them. The commander moved aside. The view showed Earth in the distance. Around it orbited massive ring structures that had not been there before. Ships moved between planets, some so large they were visible even from far away. Have they attacked you? Jiwoo asked quickly. No, the commander said. They are just watching. Wait, something is happening. The view shifted. A single ship approached the fleet. It was small compared to the other Guardian vessels, but still elegant and alien in design. We are being hailed, the commander reported. Accept the transmission, President Yunji ordered. The screen split. On one side was the fleet commander. On the other appeared a human face, a woman with calm eyes and short black hair. Greetings, Galactic Council, she said in perfect galactic standard. I am Jihye, speaker for Earth and liaison to the Guardians. The council members looked at each other in surprise. You speak our language, Yunji said. The Guardians have taught us much in the last 3 days, Jihye replied. They have awakened the knowledge they gave our ancestors long ago. We know now about your confederation, about the galaxy beyond our system. And the Pact? Taiho asked, stepping forward so she could see him. Jihye nodded respectfully. The Pact has changed, Elder. The time of dormancy is over. The Guardians have fully awakened, and so has humanity's awareness of our place in the universe. What does that mean for us? President Yunji asked directly. It means we must establish new terms, Jihye answered. The old agreement has been broken. The Guardians suggest a meeting. Representatives from your council may come to Earth. We will discuss the future. And if we refuse? Jiwoo asked. Jihye's expression remained calm, but her eyes hardened slightly. That would be unwise, Admiral. The Guardians do not wish for conflict, but they will protect Earth and humanity as they always have. Behind her, the view showed more Guardian ships appearing near the fleet. They did not move aggressively, but their message was clear. President Yunji looked at Elder Taiho, who nodded slightly. We will send representatives, she told Jihye. When and where? 3 days from now. You may land at our main spaceport in the region called New Zealand. Your ships will be given safe passage. The transmission ended. The council chamber was silent for a long moment. What do we do now? Someone finally asked. Taiho looked around the room. We acknowledge reality, he said simply. The balance of power has changed. The sleeping giant has awakened. President Yunji nodded slowly. We will need to choose our representatives carefully. This meeting may determine the future relationship between the Confederation and Earth for generations to come. I volunteer to go, said a voice from the side of the chamber. Commander Dohyun stepped forward. I was wrong to doubt Elder Taiho. Perhaps I can help make amends. Taiho smiled slightly. The young can learn, after all. As the council debated who else to send, the screens continued to show the transformed Sol system. The Guardians had awoken. Humanity now knew they were not alone in the universe, and the Confederation faced a new reality. The elders had warned them. They hadn't listened. Now they would have to deal with the consequences. 1 month after the awakening, a Confederation diplomatic ship landed at Earth's main spaceport in New Zealand. The ship was small and carried no weapons, as agreed. Commander Do-hyun led the delegation. With him were 5 others chosen by the Igar Council: Elder Taiho, a trade specialist, a scientist, a cultural expert, and a military advisor. They stepped onto Earth soil with a mixture of caution and wonder. The spaceport was unlike any they had seen. It combined human and Guardian technology in ways that seemed impossible. Ships rose and landed without visible engines. Structures changed shape as needed. The air was perfectly clean despite the busy activity. A small group of humans waited for them. At the front stood Ji-hye, the woman who had spoken to the council. She wore simple clothes, not a uniform or fancy dress. This surprised Do-hyun, who had expected more ceremony. "Welcome to Earth," Ji-hye said in Galactic Standard. "Thank you for coming." Elder Taiho bowed slightly. "Thank you for having us. We have much to discuss." "Yes," Ji-hye agreed. "But first, would you like to see some of our world? It might help you understand what the Guardians mean to us." The delegation followed Ji-hye to a waiting transport. It had no wheels, but floated silently above the ground. They moved through countryside first, seeing fields and forests much like those on many worlds. "Your planet is beautiful," Do-hyun said politely. "It is." Ji-hye nodded. "And until recently we thought it was the only one with life. Now we know the galaxy is full of worlds and peoples." The transport crested a hill, and the visitors gasped. Before them spread a vast city. But it was not like the cities they had seen in Earth broadcasts. This one had tall buildings that curved and flowed. Parks and green spaces were everywhere, and above it all, Guardian ships moved silently through the clouds. "This was a small town 3 weeks ago," Ji-hye explained. "The Guardians helped us rebuild it as a model for future cities. Clean energy, no pollution, space for nature alongside human needs." "You've done all this in 3 weeks?" the scientist asked, amazed. "The Guardians work quickly when fully awake," Ji-hye said. "But they only help. They do not control. Every decision is made together." They continued to a large building in the center of the city. It looked like it grew from the earth itself, with walls of living crystal that shimmered in the sunlight. Inside, they found a meeting room with a round table. On one side sat more humans. On the other side were empty chairs for the Confederation delegates. And at the far end was something else entirely. It looked like a column of light that shifted and moved. Patterns formed and dissolved within it. Do-hyun recognized it from the recordings as a Guardian, though it seemed somehow different from Sentinel. "This is Harmony," Ji-hye introduced the light being. The Guardian chosen to speak during these negotiations. The delegates took their seats. Do-hyun noticed how calm the humans seemed in the presence of this alien entity. They acted as if having a being of light and geometry at their meeting was perfectly normal. "We will begin," Harmony said. Its voice seemed to come from everywhere, and nowhere at once. "The old pact is broken. A new agreement must be formed." Elder Taiho nodded. "The Confederation regrets the violation of the original agreement. We did not fully understand its importance." "Understanding has now been achieved," Harmony replied. "The question is what comes next." Ji-hye took over the human side of the discussion. "The Guardians have suggested 3 possible paths forward. First, Earth could remain isolated, but now with active defenses that would prevent any future intrusions." The military advisor frowned at this. "Second," Ji-hye continued, "Earth and the Guardians could form an independent power, separate from, but equal to the Confederation. We would interact through strictly controlled treaties and exchanges." The trade specialist made notes on this option. "Or third," Ji-hye finished, "Earth could join the galactic community as a full member. The Guardians would remain our partners. Their technology would be shared, not hoarded." Do-hyun sat up straighter. "Shared? You would share Guardian technology with the Confederation?" "Some of it," Ji-hye clarified. "Not weapons or defenses, but energy systems, medical advances, terraforming techniques. things that help rather than harm. The delegates looked at each other. This was more than they had hoped for. What would Earth want in return? The trade specialist asked carefully. Respect, Jihi said simply. Recognition of our sovereignty. Acknowledgement that humans and guardians are partners, not master and servant. And protection against those who might try to exploit our relationship. Harmony's light pulsed gently. The neural energy humans produce is unique. Other species might seek to study or capture humans. This must not be permitted. Elder Tejo nodded. It was exactly this concern that led our ancestors to keep the full nature of the pact secret. Hours passed as they discussed details. The humans were practical and direct. The guardian Harmony spoke rarely but clearly. By the end of the day, the outline of a new agreement had formed. Earth would join the galactic community. Guardian technology would be shared for peaceful purposes. The Confederation would recognize Earth's special status and help protect it from exploitation. In return, Earth and the Guardians would help solve problems facing the galaxy, from dying stars to failing ecosystems. As the meeting ended, Do-hyun found himself talking privately with Ji-hye and Harmony. I was one of those who dismissed Elder Taiho's warnings, he admitted. I thought the stories of Guardians were just old myths. Many humans thought the same about our own old stories, Ji-hye said with a small smile. Tales of strange lights in the sky, of beings who watched over us. We called them angels, gods, spirits, different names for the same protectors. And now? Do-hyun asked. How do humans feel about discovering the truth? Some are afraid, Ji-hye acknowledged. Change is always frightening. But most are excited. The universe just got much bigger and much more interesting. Harmony's light shifted to a warmer tone. Humans adapt quickly. It is one of their strengths. It is why we chose them. Do-hyun looked at the Guardian with curiosity. May I ask, why humans specifically? What makes them produce the neural energy you need? Imagination, Harmony answered. Humans imagine possibilities more vividly than any species we encountered. They dream. They create. They hope. This generates the patterns we need to sustain ourselves. In return, Ji-hye added, the Guardians give us protection and knowledge. It has always been a fair exchange, even when most of us didn't know about. And the next day, the delegation prepared to return to the Confederation with the draft agreement. As they boarded their ship, Elder Tejo paused and looked back at Earth. Guardian vessels moved through the sky. New structures rose in the distance. Humans went about their lives in a world forever changed. You were right, Do-hyun said to him. We should have listened. Tejo smiled slightly. The young rarely listen to the old, but you learn, eventually, and now perhaps we all have a chance to learn from each other. As their ship rose from Earth, Do-hyun watched the blue planet grow smaller below them. For thousands of years it had seemed like just another world with primitive life. Now it was revealed as something else entirely, the home of humanity and their guardian partners. A power that had been sleeping but was now fully awake. The elders had warned, never awaken Earth's Pact-Bound guardians. The galaxy hadn't listened. Now the galaxy would never be the same.